Marissa Bazinski is live in Howe with the latest. Marissa?
Jesse, I'm here at the front entrance of Howe High School, but no students will be walking through the door this morning. That's because storm damage completely ravaged this area. I'll step out of the shot so that you can see a little better. As you can see, things like scrap metal and trees are blocking the door here. And if I pan you around the other way, you'll see that even more is over here in the distance. Howe is one of 2 school districts that has chosen to close today, here and in Bells. And those are the 2 areas that the Grayson County Office of Emergency Management were the most affected by last night's storm. And power providers in this area say that there are still thousands without power this morning, although on the other side, and I'll pan you around so you can see that as well, there are power crews working to restore service to customers in Grayson County. Of course, this is a developing story. Grayson County Emergency Management says that just about now as the sun rises, that's when they'll be able to start better assessing the damage, able to determine whether or not a tornado did come through here. We'll keep you updated throughout the morning.
We'll be waking up to find down power lines and tree branches this morning. Grayson County, very hard hit. You're taking a live look right now in Whitesboro, Texas. That's a doctor's office there in Whitesboro that was heavily damaged in last night's storms. Marissa Bazinski is live in Howe on one of the hardest hit streets, Stark Lane. Marissa, tell us what you're seeing this morning.
Jesse, crews are still out here on Stark Lane working to repair the several power lines that fell last night. And emergency management crews say that this area here in Howe was one of the worst hit. However, several people were waking up without power. The last check was several thousand who are still waiting to have their service restored. And so here in Howe and in Bells, they were considered the worst in Grayson County. Both school districts decided to cancel classes for the day. And right now, we're just waiting on confirmation. Were there tornadoes that passed through these areas? It could have been up to 3, according to emergency management officials. And city officials here in Howe say that this storm is like something they've never seen in this area before. We'll keep you updated as this story progresses throughout the day. Live in Howe, Marissa Bazinski, News 12.
Severe storms and at least 1 tornado ripped through Texoma last night. This is aerial footage that you're seeing out of Howe, Texas. That is where we find News 12's Sarah Humphrey, where cleanup is underway. Sarah.
Jesse, a tornado hit this community hard last night. This morning, we're getting a look at the damage. How police say at least 20 homes were damaged or destroyed. Debris can be seen scattered across the streets. Crews are out now repairing power lines and trying to clean up the mess. Howe High School suffered roof damage. The district is closed today, and it's unclear when classes will resume. Police say the tornado came across FM 902 and Highway 75, striking several vehicles and overturning semis. At least 5 people are hurt, and we're told 1 woman is in critical condition.
Mostly I lost my shop, light damage to the house. My brother's shop, it imploded, so it's gone. A couple of neighbors' houses look like maybe totals. We were blessed that, the storm was 50 feet closer to the fence. I mean, it could have been a lot different.
Residents here say this town is resilient and they will recover. A shelter has been set up at the Howe Church of Christ to help those affected by the storm. Live in Howe, Sarah Humphrey, News 12.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, 2 other communities in Grayson County are also dealing with the aftermath of this storm. Bells and Whitesboro are cleaning up after homes and businesses sustained significant damage.
Just blew it off, took it off.
In just a few short moments, the strong winds from Tuesday night's storms stripped the roof from this medical practice in Whitesboro. And that wasn't the only building affected.
There are apartments or duplexes behind here that have structural damage, roof damage.
City officials are thankful that most of the damage was contained to only a few blocks on the west side of town. However, those stuck in that area say it was frightening.
I don't know, it's just a miracle made through it, I guess.
Further east down 82, the city of Bells is recovering as well. Trees and power lines fell, homes and businesses were damaged, and several residents woke up without power. While many suspect tornadoes are the cause for the damage, it's still unsure whether or not any actually touched down.
They'll have to wait till in the morning until they can assess it to tell if it was a tornado or straight line winds.
In Grayson County, Marissa Bazinski, News 12.
Yeah, Dana Maureen, this is what residents in Howe woke up to this morning after a tornado ripped through their community last night. Now cleanup efforts are underway. Howe police say at least 20 homes were damaged or destroyed near Stark Lane. Debris can be seen scattered across the streets. Crews and residents have been out all day cleaning up the mess. Classes were canceled at Howe ISD because the roof at the high school was damaged. The National Weather Service confirms it was an EF1 tornado that hit here. Police say the twister crossed FM 902 and Highway 75, striking several cars and overturning semis. At least 5 people are hurt, and we're told one of them is critical.
We're just in the process right now of helping these residents that were hit last night with a tornado clean up, help them try to get into their homes to try to salvage what they can. Unfortunately, some of the homes were damaged bad enough that there's nothing really left to save.
A 24-hour shelter has been set up at the Howe Church of Christ for anyone affected by the storm. Live in Howe, Sarah Humphrey, News 12.
We're here off of Bodark and North Avenue in Whitesboro, where, as you can see, this area got hit pretty hard by last night's storms. The roof nearly completely ripped off of this doctor's office, and they weren't the only ones to sustain some heavy damage.
Pretty shocked.
Dr. Alfred Jowett owns what's left of this clinic.
You can see the roof is gone, but a lot of water damage.
Insulation and debris was strewn all around the building. Jowett and his family are salvaging what they can.
We're getting the patient records and trying to keep those safe before it rains again, and so they don't get totally ruined.
200 feet down the road, we're told all 4 families living in these 2 duplexes are being forced to move while the homes are gutted.
Heard the sirens going off, and I turned around to my wife and my kid and said, "It's here, we need to go."
The Wallers are one of those families.
I've never heard my wife and kids scream like that ever.
He knew he had to get his family to safety.
So I took the mattress from the bed, threw it all over on top of him, and then ran down here, and when I got about here, that's when this just exploded and all this insulation fell down on me.
He rode out the storm in the bathtub. Now, he and other residents are starting the cleanup. They're getting help from volunteers organized by Keep Whitesboro Beautiful.
Whitesboro's a die-hard town. You know, we're all strong people, and it'll be rebuilt and we'll be great as ever.
Whataburger donated food to dozens of victims and first responders.
People are coming in wanting to help and donate their time and help citizens, so everybody seems to be coming together in a small town like this. It's pretty nice.
The First Baptist Church of Whitesboro offered shelter Tuesday night.
Set up some cots and got some coffee going and waited, and nobody needed it, and that's a good thing, that they were all safe. Oh, we're hanging in there. We're trying to keep our spirits up.
And Dr. Jowett tells me they do have insurance and plan to rebuild. In Whitesboro, Sean Larson, News 12.
Kathy Malone took cover when the code red alert system began buzzing on her phone. 3 tornadoes ripped through Grayson County Tuesday night. 5 people were hurt in Howe when semis were blown off the road, but Malone knows it could have been worse.
I merit that to the alert system.
Tens of thousands of residents subscribe to the code red system. It sends phone calls, texts, and emails when there are weather alerts. Emergency Manager Sarah Summers says some people didn't get the notification in time for the storm.
Some of those people got telephone calls and then they didn't get a text, or they got a text a few hours later or 2 days later.
Officials are investigating what caused the delay. Summers says it may have been caused by the lack of cell and internet service.
It's a reminder that none of us should rely on a single way to receive our warnings.
Summers says social media and weather radios are good sources of information. Residents say they're nervous because more severe weather is in the forecast.
It is still a pretty raw emotion, and it makes you nervous, and we're certainly not going to wait for that second alarm to go off.
In Sherman, Sarah Humphrey, News 12.
We're here off of Washburn Road. Now, this is one of the hardest hit areas in Bells. You can see this hay barn completely destroyed here behind me. This hay bale poking out a little bit here, and we're told there were 15 calves inside of here that made it out alive.
I've never been that scared.
Tyler Milton is one of thousands of fortunate Texomans that made it out of Tuesday night's 85-mile-per-hour EF0 tornado alive.
It all came down real fast. Electricity went out, house just shifted, ears popped, and I knew it was happening.
Milton scrambled towards the center of his house.
The house started collapsing in on me there, so I just ducked under a couch.
He stayed on the phone with his mom.
You know, I told her if I went quiet, call 911.
When the storm cleared, he lost 3/4 of his roof, had holes in the ceiling, extensive water damage, and this hay barn destroyed.
My wife's out of town, so it's been a little scary, kind of sleeping by myself.
Thursday afternoon, Tyler was joined by several friends and family members.
They're just chipping in. I couldn't be more grateful.
They were working frantically to tarp down what's left of his roof, with more rain expected.
You wonder how much people even think about you, and then something happens and you see it. You see how much they care.
Took cover in one of the closets and rode it out.
This was the scene down the road on McFarland Street.
Took the roof off of a barn, got some damage to the house, and took out my mother-in-law's place down there.
The Razor family was racing against time to clean up.
We're alive and we can replace the material things.
Sonic on Highway 69 had their menus and sign damaged. Workers were out on Highway 56 cleaning up downed trees. This home on Washburn Road had roof damage after a large tree fell on it. This art studio had their carport thrown about 100 feet.
We're doing okay now. The shock's over.
You know, we're going to try to get back to normalcy of life as fast as possible.
There were also several tractors inside of here, including this one. The owner tells me it looks like they're all salvageable. In Bells, Sean Larson, News 12.
It could be several days before classes are back in session after an EF1 tornado ripped through Howe, heavily damaging the high school and several houses and injuring 5 people in the city.
Even right now, crews are working to repair the school and those homes round the clock. News 12's Jeremy Thomas is live in Howe. And Jeremy, there's a special group of volunteers working on those repairs, right?
Yeah, Dan and Maureen, classes are canceled at all Howe schools tomorrow, but for dozens of students, they'll still be hard at work, learning an important lesson outside of the classroom.
Best case scenario, Friday, most likely Monday, but we're going to evaluate. We're considering some options off-site.
Howe Superintendent Kevin Wilson says the district's high school suffered major damage to classrooms and the gym during Tuesday night's tornado.
We sustained quite a bit of damage on the roof, several damaged and displaced HVAC units. Through that created some holes in the structure, and we had quite a bit of water damage.
And with the school closed, students could do whatever they wanted with their free time.
Mattress out of it?
But many chose to help.
It was 7:30, 8 o'clock. You had student athletes out here working, moving trees. You had cheerleaders carrying chainsaws to be taken from one place to another.
Students moved furniture, cut up trees, moved trailers, and hauled debris away for their neighbors. Junior Michael Helpensell plays football for Howe and says the entire team came to help.
This is my hometown, and, you know, I do anything I can to keep it together.
There were elementary kids and middle school kids out here moving wood and debris and stuff and trying to help.
Tate Harvey was one of those middle schoolers helping out.
I think it's important for people to come and help their community out. Like, it's just showing care, like that they care for their community and stuff like that.
In this community, they have their own saying, "Let us show you how." And senior Catherine Honegger says now they're doing just that.
A lot of people think small towns, like, you can't do as much as some people in big towns can do, but today we've really seen our small town come together and we've shown you how we do it.
That's a testament to this community. We're a small knit community, and everyone works together, and we have each other's back.
Superintendent Wilson says he doesn't anticipate the situation affecting graduation or any extracurricular activities, and he says they hope to return in time for state testing next week. We'll post on our website and the app when the school will reopen. Reporting live in Howe, Jeremy Thomas, News 12.
Continue to sort through the rubble. Volunteers are finding items victims feared would be lost forever.
News 12's Sarah Humphrey is live in Howe with more on one woman's miraculous find.
Maureen, when volunteers heard what one woman lost in Tuesday's tornado, they teamed up to find the needle in the haystack. Terry Calhoun and her husband lost their home when a tornado ripped through Howe on Tuesday night.
We're just hanging in there and
working through it a day at a time.
When the dust settled, volunteers began helping Calhoun pick up the pieces.
We found lots of pictures that we've set out to dry. A lot of them are ruined, but a lot of them aren't.
But one thing was still missing, her wedding ring. Calhoun says she placed it on a dresser before bed on Tuesday.
The diamonds that are on it, they're not real big, but they were made out of my mother-in-law's ring that is deceased, so it was kind of important to find.
Marcy Record doesn't know Calhoun, but volunteered to help anyways. Record says when she heard about the missing ring, she grabbed a metal detector.
Just knowing what all they went through, and then how lucky everybody is. I mean, they're alive, but still, there's stuff you can't get back. Pictures. I mean, it's just very devastating.
Buried under the rubble was the needle in the haystack.
I don't even know what to say because it's just so important to me because it's made from my mother-in-law's ring.
The wedding ring is now back where it belongs. Calhoun says she lost her house, but not the memories she made there.
I would have tried to accept it if we didn't find it, but it's just real important.
Calhoun and her husband were not hurt in the tornado. The couple tells me they eventually hope to rebuild. Live in house, Sarah Humphrey.